Okay, fine. So we're going to discuss about the classes that are available in Java. The one of the most important class, that's string class in Java, and it's the most widely used class in Java. So anytime whatever class we have written, even if we don't declare a string variable, a string class, string reference, string object, even then also Java creates certain string variables in between just to support the execution. Okay, so we're going to see how the string classes are created and how basically they're going to help us, and what are the different methods available in string class. So we're going to discuss that. For that, I'm going to create a new project, Java project, and string example. I'm going to create a new class, com.x. Fine, now we have a class created, string example 1. I'm going to discuss about the different methods available in string. First of all, I'll create a main method as I want my code to execute from here. Fine. So whenever I want to store some data in a reference or in a variable, I first think about its type. What type of data is it? If I want to store age, it's integer age. Similarly, if I want to store some sort of say for example amount of money or some sort of thing, so I take the example of float, say for example price, you can do that. Otherwise, if I want to store some date related information like date of birth, then I can take the example of date class, java.util date, then date of birth. Similarly, if I want to store a data related to some sort of multiple type of data, I want to store them together. Okay, that's what we call a string. So I take the example, create the variable string, then the name of the string variable. Say for example, if I want to store the name of a person, name. Fine. If I want to assign some value to name, I can use name equals to, then two double quotes are required to assign the value to string. This much we have already known. Fine, now this is how a string variable is defined. I can directly define it this way. And there are even different ways of creating a string variable. I can do this way as well. String address equals to, this way we have already seen, this is called the literal way of creating strings. Now I want to tell you how we can create a string object using new operator, new string. This is the constructor. So whenever we call this constructor, new string object is created. If I want to create a new string object with some value, I can do this way. Okay, fine. So now the difference between these two is like it's about the memory architecture, how this data is being stored in the Java virtual machine, how the Java virtual machine is going to store this data. Otherwise, if you want to look at the reference, both of the reference are similar. If you access this reference, it's going to access the value that is assigned. For this is Mumbai. Now if I want to do some operation on these string variable, there are different things, a different type of operations that we can do on a string object. As we have already known that string is a class in Java because I have called the constructor, right, and it's taking an argument. So every class in Java, they can have some methods. Similarly, string class, it has certain predefined methods in Java. So for example, if I want to print the value of string, so for example name, let's comment this out. Fine. Now I want to print the name. I can use the system.out.print or println method. So it is going to print the name for me. If I want to run this code, it's going to print the value that I have tried to print. So I'm going to right click, run as Java application, and if I look at the console, it says that yeah, name, value that I wanted to print. Fine. If I want to print the string variable all in uppercase letters, so I should be displayed in capital letters. This value should be displayed. So this is an operation on the string object that we have created. So if I want to make this string capitalized, okay, then there is a method called toUpperCase, and that method is defined within string class. So if I want to call that method, if you want to call a method inside a class, then what we do, we create an object of the class, then we call the method using the string or the object reference. So if I want to call the method toUpperCase, this is the string reference name or the variable name, I can use the dot operator, name dot, then it is going to give us all the different string methods available. There are lots of methods available. So what I'm going to call right now is toUpperCase. Fine. So this is the toUpperCase. Understood? Now let's double click on that. Now if I run this code, right click, run as Java application. While running it, just note the name variable is first letter capital, then small letters, but it is going to print in a different way. So this method has printed as the value all in uppercase characters. Okay. So this is a method. Similarly, we can find another method called toLowerCase. Fine. It is going to give us the similar result, but the result is going to be all in small letters. It's going to be small letter value. Fine. This is going to be the result. So let's do one thing. Let's run this code and let's look at the result. Right click, run as Java application. It has printed all the letters in small letters. Fine. So when you want to know more about a specific method in string class, what we can do, we can put our mouse on that method. It is going to give us the help documentation. It says converts all of the characters in the string to lowercase using the rules of the default local. Now local is something which is like locality, or it's about the local variable or the local way of representing about the user. Now this local, it can say the currency that is going to be INR. So whenever you want to print some sort of currency, if you are using the local Indian local, so it is going to print you the value in INR. Okay, if you want to talk about the time zone, etc., all the things are going to be based on the local value. So we're not using local right here, so it's taking the default local that is within your system. So now I have used a toLocal, a toLowerCase method. So I have two methods till now. One is string.toUpperCase, string.toLowerCase. Similarly, there are even more methods available in string. Suppose I want to print, I just want to print the first 4 characters. Okay, from a bigger string, I want to print just the first 4 characters. So that it needs to start from the 0th index. If the string is basically string is a array of characters. Okay, so what I want to do right now is, okay, yeah, go on.
Space is also a string.
Yes, space is a string. So any type of character that can be printed can be considered as a string variable. Okay, so if you want to print some numbers, a special character, for example, they're all string variables. Okay, so right now I'm having a string and I want to print the first 4 characters. Okay, then there is a method called substring. I can use the substring method. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to substring name dot substring. It asks for 2 parameters. Understood? Beginning index and the end index. Okay. So what I'm going to give right now, the beginning index is 0 because I'm going to start from the initial character A. Then I'm going to go to 0, that is the 0th index, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so when I call this substring method and I say the beginning index is 0, so it is going to start from capital A and the end index is 3. So now this method is basically returning us a value. If you put a mouse on that, it says that it returns a string variable. So it returns a string that is the substring of the string. So it is going to return from 0 to 3. This is the index 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I want to assign a new variable, okay, to the return string, now this is going to return a string. I can directly print that if I want, or if I want to store that in a variable, I can do it as well. Okay, So name.substring is returning a value and I'm storing that within another string reference. So if I want to print that, I can use sysout and first name. Fine. Right click, run as Java. Now you can see there only 3 characters are printed. In Java, the substring method, it excludes the last index. That is, we are going to start with 0, going to 0, then 1, 2 and 3. So whenever we say substring 0, 1, 2, 3, it prints everything excluding the last index. That is 0, 1 and 2. So if I want to print 4 characters, I need to give 0 to 4. Excluding, that is exclusive of this character, this index, it is going to print everything else. So now it is going to print 0 to 4. So excluding 4th character, it has just ARYA. So I can run this. Now it is printed. Suppose I want to print only the this much DHU, okay, or SINDHU, this much letter only I just want to print. So I'm going to start from this index, that is S. S index value is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'm going to start with 4 and I'm going to go till which index? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I say 10, then this space is left. Excluding this space, this much is going to be printed. It will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to start from 4th index. So let's create another string variable, maybe last name. And I'm going to print the substring starting from 4. That is including 4 and excluding the last parameter. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will start with S. Now it will go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10th character. So I can say 4 to 10. And I'm going to print the last name. Understood? So this is a second string that we have created. If you want to directly assign this value, we can take this way, cut this, save this, paste. Now this is also going to work for us. Now if you want to know the length of the string, like how many characters are there within this string, we can do that using the length method or size method. There is a size method of string. So we can take integer size equals to name dot, okay, length is the method. We can take the method length, not size. Okay, it returns the length of string. The length is equal to the number of characters present in the string, right? So now I have not printed the size, so I can use sysout size of name, then a colon plus size. This way we can print size of name space size value. Right click, run as. So it is going to give us 15. Because if you start counting, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The space is a character. 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Suppose I have given another space. Now it is going to give us 16, right? It's going to give us 16. Right click, run as Java application will say 16. Suppose there is a case in which you have some spaces either at the start or at the end, maybe some more amount of spaces. Now it is going to look odd when we try to print the name, right? It is going to look odd. See, the name is printed like this, right? And when I try to substring from 0 to 4, it has just printed some spaces. So it may create some problems. So if I want to just remove those things out, I can use the strings trim method. So I can take string, another variable, name trimmed equals to name dot trim. So it says, if you look at the documentation, it returns a string whose value string whose value is this string with any leading and trailing white spaces removed. So all the spaces, white spaces that we have in before and after the string, they are going to be removed. But remember, within the string, if you have any spaces, like this is the space, it is never going to be removed. Only this much amount of space is going to be removed. Fine. So I'm going to call the method trim, and let's print the new value that we have created. Name trimmed. So let's print trimmed name. This is the trimmed name. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, now you can see the name is printed with this much value only. When I started, initially when I tried to print the entire name, it has printed some of the spaces before and after because the string contained these values, right? Now this is not the case. There are even more methods in string. So let's do one thing.
One question. But if I next, yeah, I want to calculate the size of the train name. So
Mhm.
what would be excluding the first
Mm,
space and last space, right?
Yes, you want to calculate the size, length of this
Yes.
string.
Yes,
So
exactly.
first
Yeah.
you need to trim it. When you trim, you
Hmm.
are going to get the
Yes.
trimmed variable. You can
Okay.
you can print that size of name trim.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and size is size after trimming plus name trim dot length. Okay, so let's run this code. It is going to give you different size. Earlier it has given 621 with the spaces. Now it has trimmed the name. It is just containing this much value and the size is 15 like we have seen earlier. After trimming, the size is 15. So the spaces, they are removed. Okay. Suppose from a string I want to know, I want to locate what is the character at a specific index. Okay. Say for example, I want to know the index like 10 at 10th index, what is the string which is present. If you are talking about name trimmed, it is going to have the value without any spaces. Now I want to know the character that is present at 10th index. So this is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this space is at 10th index. So unfortunately, we won't be able to understand if we are printing a space. So let's look at the value which is present at index 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So H is the 8th index. So H is the 8th index. So 8th index, what is this value? H, that is a character, it's a single character. Either it can be a string or a character. To better define it, we can say that it's a character with two single quotes. Now the character variables, how they're defined, we can say character at 8th index equals to name trimmed dot character art. So this method is going to give us, if we are going to specify 8 over here, it's going to print the ninth index or the 8th index value or the ninth actual value from string. So I say 8. So if you say 8, it is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to print 8. So now we have the character at 8th index. If I want to print, I can say something 8th character after trimming is plus character at 8th index. Fine. So now let's print this. Right click on a Java application. So it says 8th character after trimming is H. So if you change the value, say for this is the 10th index, 11, 12 and 13. 12. So this is the A is the 12th index. Character at 12th index is this value. Okay, so let's change the name of the variable. 12th character of string timing is 12th. It's just the name of the variable. Don't be confused. We can have the same variable as well, but it makes some more sense. So it is going to print A because that's the 12th character. Okay. Similarly, if you want to find when a character, like this is the string, okay, and the location of another string within this string. So for example, I say location of I, it is going to give me the index of I, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I say find me the value, the location where I is present, I can do that. I can take the location value is integer location equals to name trimmed dot index of. So when you say index of a character, we can say a character, index of a character or string value. This is the string, index of string value. It is like we are going to give the which location, which variable I. So it is going to tell us where this I is located. I is located at, so let's run this code. Sysout location of I is plus location. So it is going to give us where this I is actually present. 5, it says 5. So after trimming, this is the string 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. So this is the location. Now you can say that there are two small a's present. This is a small a, this is a capital A. They're different. Okay, when you say location of capital A, it is going to give you 0. Okay, so when I say location of capital A, it is going to tell us 0. It is present at the 0th index, right? But when I say location of small a, now there is a confusion because there are more than one a present in the string. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Third 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 index is a. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 index is also a. Now what say when you say index of a character, and whenever that character is first encountered, that location is returned. So 3 is going to be returned because this is 0, 1, 2, 3. And once this is located, the loop breaks and we are going to get this location. Right? So now 3 is going to be the output. Okay. Similarly, there are even more methods available in string. Substring is one of the most important thing. Then index of is also important. Length is important. We use it a lot of time. Uppercase, lowercase is also important. There are even more methods. If you are more interested on a specific method, you can use control space and you will find all the methods that are available in string. You can go one by one. Concat. If you want to add two strings, concat is used. Replace. If you want to replace some character with another character. So let's create one example of replace. Suppose I want to replace the title SAHU with SAH00. SAH00. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look into the string where SAHU is present. Then I'm going to remove that and I'm going to replace with SAH00. So to remove and replace with a different string, there is a separate method in string which is called as replace. So I'm going to create another string name replaced character. After replacing the characters or the replacing the string, I'm going to have another string. So that string is name replaced character, and I'm going to replace that from name trimmed dot replace. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace SAHU. So it is going to ask me two things. Okay, string the old character with the new character. If you want to replace only one character in the string, then you can use the replace old character and new character. If you want to replace a sequence of characters, or if you want to replace a string, so we can use this one, replace all regex, and it asks for a regular expression. We're not going into that depth. Now what we're going to use this method. This is the overloaded method, replace and replace, both of them having the same name but different type of data. This is going to accept two strings, character sequence target and character sequence replacement. So when we say target, like what we are going to replace, I'm going to replace SAHU with which value SAH00. So now this method, it returns another string. Understood? It returns another string. This string will be saved within the variable name replaced. Let's remove this one. So I'm going to print this out after replacing what is the new string. Name replaced. Right click, run as Java application. So after replacing, this is the new name. Understood? Okay, any doubt in this string?
If you replace the character, it's as
Okay. When you
replace.
replace the character, see, this is the string that we have right now. When I say replace R with X, it is going to give the output after replacing R. Once it replaces a character, it returns from. If you want to replace all the R present in the string, then it is going to go through the entire string variable and replace all the values. Okay, so when I say replace small a with X, then it is going to be ARYX, replace all, then ASXHU. This is going to be the output because I am calling replace all. Similarly, okay, let's do this. Sysout name trimmed dot replace old character with new character, and how we define the character using single quote. What I want to replace, say for example, I want to replace U, and I'm going to replace U with capital P, for example. This is a character, so I'm going to define it this way. So when this method is executed, it returns a string with small u replaced with capital P. Okay, so let's run this code, and at the end we are going to get the output. See, it has replaced u with P and u with P. So this replace character method, it replaces all the characters, all the occurring like characters present in the string. But when we talk about string replacement within a string, so say for example, I am having let's take another example. Okay, so this is going to be more clear. String, for example, example string equals to, within double quote I can define the string, some variables like this. Okay, so when I say replace kf, you can see kf is present here, over here, only these two places, right? So I cannot replace them by a single character. Like this is a command to replace all the characters present in the string. This is and character is going to define only one character. We cannot define multiple characters. When we want to define replace multiple character, multiple string values, then we are going to call the replace all method. Sysout example string dot replace. If I'm calling replace and I'm giving two values, say for example kf with capital KF, then we are going to get some output which is different than replace all. Okay, let's save this value. Run as Java application. Now look at these two outputs. Okay, now it has replaced everything actually. Now replace all, it will take a regular expression, and replace it doesn't take regular expression. Okay, fine. So what happens when we call a replace command? It replaces all such characters present in the string, like kf is present over here and here. All of them are replaced with capital KF. If you look at this output, this is the output. See, this KF is replaced in both the places. But when I say replace all, it is expecting this to be a regular expression. Regular expression are like special commands to treat like it's about a pattern in the string. So if you have comma and after that some character, or comma after that there is a number, if you want to search for number in the string, or if you want to look for a pattern, if there are three consecutive numbers present in a string, then do this. So in that case we are going to use the regular expression. It is going to replace the regular expression. So for that reason we use the replace all command. But right now, if we want to replace only strings without any expression, without any regular expression, just normal strings, we can take the string that we want to replace. Okay, now you understood how we can replace a character with another character within a string, and how we can replace a string or multiple characters with some multiple character values, or a string with another string value within a string. Hope this is clear.
Sir, if I want to replace single KF with capital KF, then what we have to use?
If you want to replace single kf, like which kf you are going to replace, that matters. So
Yes,
from
sir.
this string, which kf do you want to replace? The first kf?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then what happens, we can take this string as a complete string and we need to break the string. Only this much character we are going to break, and we are going to replace this much. So
How
how
to
to
break
how to
string?
break, I have already told you.
Enough
If
characters.
no, you are going to break that using string dot substring. Once you substring, we are going to have this much part. Okay, if you want to substring this string only this much, but if you want to remove, what is the command? Like what are the different, how are you going to substring? We're going to start from here with 0 index. So this is going to be example string dot substring 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 to 4 will substring, then we'll call the replace. Okay, so let's see example string dot substring. So we're going to start from 0 till 4, and this is the like statement which is going to give us askf, right? This is the string which you're going to get. Then I want to replace dot that string dot replace kf with capital Kf. So let's run this command. Is it fine now?
Okay.
Arya,
Mm-hmm.
one question. If you want to break the string, but
Mm-hmm.
where space came by space.
If you
So
want
in
to
a string,
break the string with some spaces, yeah,
yes.
that is some, there is one more method in string that is called split. Okay, we can call the split method. But split is again something which needs the knowledge of array in Java. Okay, so we're going to discuss array, then I'm going to talk about the split method.
Okay.
Okay, okay, let me give you the example of array in Java. I'm going to create a new class, array example. Okay, within that we can have a method name. So when I want to store multiple data of a similar type, okay, earlier if I want to store a mark, integer mark, and this can store only one mark. So this is one mark which I have stored. Suppose I want to store all the marks a student had scored. So I cannot like have multiple values with comma separated, some 23. This is not the way, it is not valid in Java, right? So if you have such a situation where you want to store multiple data of a similar type, then we go for array. So how I can do that? I can do this way, integer array. I want to store multiple marks. So all the marks are of integer type, so I'm going to make it integer array. And I'm going to give it a meaningful name, marks. It is going to store some mark values or some integer values. So how many marks are there? Suppose the student is having 5 subjects and 5 marks. So I'm going to create new integer array, and I'm going to specify how many elements I can store. Now this is something which I have created, which can store multiple integer data, and I can assign the values marks, and at 0th index I am going to store an integer value, say for 23. Similarly, I can copy paste and I can store up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5 values. So the index, they always start from 0, then they go on increasing 1 at a time. So I have marks 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to store some different values. Suppose at marks 0, the student has scored 23. Mark 1, the student has scored some 22. Then mark 3, the student has scored 19. Over here the student scored 25, and here the student scored 10. Now I have stored 5 different values into the same variable. So this is how the array they basically work. Similarly, I can create another array of all the subjects the student is having. So I used to store the subject like this, string subject equal to double quotes, and I have defined only one subject. If I want to store multiple subjects, I am going to name this as subjects. I'm going to create a string array, and I'm going to tell like 5 subjects are there, new string array, and here I'm going to tell this 5 strings can be stored. Okay, and subjects at 0th index equal to maths, subject at 1 index English, subject at 2 index is going to be geography, this is something different. Okay, now I have stored 5 different subjects into a single string array variable. This is how I store multiple strings. Okay, suppose there is a class called as student, a class called as student. So I can create the class in a different package or in a different file, or I can create the same class in the same file. So I'm going to create the class in the same file, class student. This is how class is created, and this class student class is going to have some parameters. Okay, so it's better to have the student in a different class because it's going to be very lengthy. So let's create this class, Java class, with all the POSO, all the getters and setters. So I'm going to call this class as student. Within student I can have int private int roll number, private string name, private integer array marks, private string array subjects, subject will come first, then the marks. Now I have 4 parameters, and let's stop here. Let's create the getters and setters. Constructors first, then I'm going to create the getter setter. So I'm going to go to right click, source, generate constructor using field. All the fields are selected. Now I have the parameterized constructor. If I want to create the getter setters, I can go right click, source, generate getters and setters. Need to select everyone, click on OK. Fine. Now I have a string. I have a class of student. It's not a string, it's a class, which is a custom class or the user defined class. Now within this array example, if I want to create a single student, I'll do this way, student ram equals to new student. When I call new student, it is going to ask me all the values, roll number, name, ram, subjects. Now it is an array of strings and this is an array of integers. So let's do one thing, let's create these 2 arrays. Subjects, that is already created, you can see it is having 5 subjects, and marks, that is already created, it's having 5 marks. Fine. Now I have a complete student object. Fine. Suppose I want to create another student object. Copy, paste. Hurry. So this time this student is going to have the roll number 2, name is Hari or Harish, then subjects of Harish, This is a string array variable which is not created. That's the reason it's showing some error. Marks of Haris. Now these two variables I want to create. Just put your mouse on that and click create local variable. When I say create local variable, it has automatically created the variable for me. Create local variable. Fine. Now I want to create some of the subjects for Haris. Okay. To create a string array, as I have already told you, we can define the size and define the values using the index, or I can directly assign the string variable new string array. I don't need to specify the size. I can directly assign the values. Say English. So when I say English, only one value is here, right? So the string size is automatically, subjects of Haris is automatically set to be 1. Only one variable value is there, but I want to store some more data. I can give comma and another string. Now this subjects of Haris is having 3 data and the size is 3. Similarly, I can define the marks at a time, new integer array and some integer value 23, 25, 22. Now we have two variables created and that they are assigned to Haris student object. Now I have two student objects, right? Now two students are present. What I want to do is I want to store all the students in a single variable. So if I have multiple data of same type, the type is student type. If I want to store multiple students, Ram and Haris in a single variable, I can create a string student array, student student array, students equals to new student array of size 2. Students of 0 equals to Ram and student of 1 equals to Haris. Now it's clear. We can also create array of our custom type. We have created array of string which is already defined in Java, array of integers that's defined in Java. Now I have created an array of student which I know, which the user has created. Okay, now we can create array of that as well. I have created student array and I have assigned two values. Otherwise I can do it this way as well. Students equals to new student array of two data, that is Ram and Haris. Both of these way are possible. I cannot have two variables of the same name. Fine. Is it clear now? Seems like clear. So I'm going to give you the example of which Devashish has asked. Suppose you have a string and you want to break that string into multiple parts. Suppose somebody says that I have a variable string languages known equal to, it's not an array of strings, but it's a single string in which the user has entered the language like English I know, Hindi I know, and Spanish or French, suppose. Now I have 3 data, but when you look at the data, it is actually a single data. It's not a 3 data, it's a single string variable. Suppose I just want to know what are the languages he knows and I want to split them. I want to like break them into 3 different parts. So what I can do here, there is a specialized method in string which is called as split. So I'm going to create a, and the thing is that when I break a string into multiple parts using strings split method, then what it does, it basically creates another string array. And it is going to put these values into that array and give us that array directly. So I need to have a string array. Languages equal to, the way I used to create the string array is new string array, and this way some values I used to store. But right now this part is going to be done by strings split method. So I'm going to call languages known, this is a string value, and I want to split it. Okay, so when I say split, it is going to ask me how am I going to split it. So when I give the pattern like comma, when you find a comma, you are going to split it. Fine. So now it is going to break this thing into three parts. It will start from here, it has found commas. When it finds comma, it will break this thing, copy, and it is going to add to 0th index, that English. It is going to remove comma and it is going to start again. From here, it goes and it finds a comma, it stops and it creates another variable after English. English is going to be at 0th index, right? So when it puts English at 0th index, then it has started searching. At one index, it is going to print this value, starting from this space till it reaches comma. It has found comma, now it has broken over here. This much part is gone. Now it will start from here till it reaches end. There is no more comma left. So it is going to take this one and create another variable or another location in the array, and it is going to print this one. You can see there is a space before these two parts. So what we are going to do, whenever we look at these spaces, we can remove them using trim method. But before going into that, I just want to print the languages that I have just now recovered, or the language that I have just now found from this languages known variable. So this is an array of data. I cannot print the array directly. So what I can do, I can call a for loop. I can use a for loop, and I can take the example of simple approach. Integer index equals to 0, index less than languages dot length, index plus plus, and sys out languages. So when I print this, it is going to print languages arrays 0th value, that is index 0, languages 1 value, languages 2 value. So at 0 it is having English, then Hindi, here is a space before Hindi, and French, there is a space before that, right? So let's run this code and look at the output. You can see there is English, comma is removed, Hindi is there, but before that there is a comma, there is a space. Here is also there is a space. If I want to remove these spaces, after splitting it, I can remove the space calling the trim method. Now this is what is containing the data. Languages of 0 is containing English, languages of 1 is containing space Hindi, and languages of 2, this is basically second index 2, it is having space French. So if I want to trim that, I can call the trim method on that. Trim. Now I can call the now I can run this code and look at the output. You can see the English, Hindi and French, they are no more having any spaces. Okay, or I can take it in a different way. I don't need to define all the indexes. I can directly use the enhanced for loop using string each language colon languages, and I can call each language dot trim. So it is more easier and readable when you use the enhanced for loop. Hope it is clear. Devashish bhai, do you have any doubt?
No, it's clear.
Okay, fine. Okay, anyone else having any like doubt in this code? Anything you want to ask?
No.
Is there any left trim or right trim function in Java? Only one.
No, that's not there. Like in Oracle, we used to have left L trim, R trim. This is not present over here. There are a lot of methods actually within string. When you do control and space, you can go one by one and you can find all the commands that you want. All the methods you will find. You can find the documentation as well in Eclipse. Then you can start using them. Now string and arrays in Java is little bit, somehow we have some doubts which are clear. So hope that is clear. No doubts, right? Fine.